Hi everyone, welcome to this video on how to get started with the badge component in a React application. The badge is a CSS-based component that indicates a status or notification in different shapes and sizes, and is often used in Messenger apps. In this video, you will see how to create a React app and add the badge component. You will see the different shapes and types of badges. I will also show you how to integrate the badge with other UI components. Before proceeding, ensure you have installed the latest versions of Node.js and React. I'll be using Visual Studio Code as my editor and showing the output in the Chrome browser. First, I'll open Visual Studio Code, create a new application using the npx create React app command, and name it my React app. Since I want to create the app with TypeScript, I add the template TypeScript. It will take a few seconds to create the project. I navigate to the newly created React app. To use the React Badge CSS component, I need to install the Syncfusion notifications package using the npm install at syncfusion/ej2 notifications -- save command. This command will install the notifications package along with its dependencies. Once the installation is completed, I must register the trial license key. I open the index.tsx file and import the register license method from the Syncfusion ej2 base package. Using this method, I register the trial license key. To generate a trial key, refer to the link in the description below. Syncfusion React license key registration is now mandatory. Next, I open the app.tsx file and remove the default code snippets. To display the badge component, I will add a button and display a badge on it. As I said, the badge is a CSS-based component and will be rendered when the appropriate CSS classes are added to the target element. To access the CSS styles of the badge and button components, I need to import the necessary CSS references. So, I open the app CSS file and import CSS references for the material theme for notifications and buttons components. Then, I navigate to the app.tsx file and add the button component with the content inbox. Next, I apply styles to the button by setting the classname attribute to eButton. Incorporating the predefined eButton class applies essential CSS styles to transform this HTML element into a Syncfusion button component. Now, I want to add a badge to this button. So, I add a span tag with the content 99. To make this span tag into a Syncfusion React Badge component, I assign the eBadge class to the classname attribute. This predefined class eBadge will add default style attributes to the container element and render it as Syncfusion Badge component. I also add text align and margin top styles to the app component to align the badge component within it. I save the changes and run the application using the npm start command. You can see the button component is rendered with a badge. Here, the badge renders adjacent to the button text. To display it at the top right like a notification, I need to add the eBadge overlap class. To demonstrate, I add the eBadge overlap class to the span tag. For better alignment, I am going to set the position of the target element as relative. In the app CSS file, I define the eButton class and set the position to relative. Notice the badge renders at the top right as a notification. Here, the background color of the badge is set according to the theme. You can customize the background color and font styles by adding appropriate CSS classes. 8 predefined colors are supported by the badge component for various scenarios like success, danger, warning, info, and so on. To display the badge as a primary notification, I set the class to eBadge primary. Checking now, the badge is displayed as a primary notification, and the background color is changed. The default shape of the Syncfusion Badge component is rectangle. It can also be displayed as a circle or dot notification. To display it as a circle, I set the eBadge Circle CSS class to the span tag. You can see the badge is displayed in a circle shape. The default position of the badge notification is top. I can also display it at the bottom by setting the eBadge Bottom class. To demonstrate, I set the eBadge Bottom class to the span tag. As I want to display the badge at the bottom and display it as a dot notification, I replace the eBadge Circle class with the eBadge Dot class and remove the content from the span tag. Looking here, the dot notification is displayed at the bottom. Next, let's see how to integrate the badge component with other UI components like list view, toolbar, and accordion. In this example, I'll show you how to integrate the badge with the React toolbar component. First, I install the toolbar component using the npm install at syncfusion /ej2 React Navigations -- save command. I import the toolbar component from the Syncfusion ej2 React Navigations package. Afterward, comment out the button component and integrate the toolbar component by pasting the code snippet from the existing Syncfusion React toolbar demo application. If you want to learn more about this React toolbar component, please refer to the Syncfusion React toolbar demo page linked in the description below. Here in this toolbar, I have added the toolbar items of a messenger app which contains menu bar, new inbox messages, friend requests, and favorite messages, and used appropriate icons for these toolbar items using appropriate CSS classes. Now, I am going to add notifications for these items. I first add a span tag for the inbox item, and then add the class eBadge. As I want to set the number of new messages as primary notifications, I add the classes eBadge primary and eBadge notification. I also want to keep the notification at the top right corner of the inbox icon. So, I add the class eBadge overlap and set the number of new messages to 35. I add notifications for friend requests and favorite messages the same way by adding the span tags with appropriate badge classes. I also place this toolbar inside a division element and add the classes container division and badge toolbar to align the toolbar. I proceed to import the CSS references for the material theme related to the toolbar component. I define these classes within the app CSS file and incorporate the necessary CSS styles such as margin, padding, display, and overflow. Looking now, the badge component is integrated with the toolbar. In this video, I have shown you how to add the badge component to a React application. I have also shown you different shapes and types of badges, and how to integrate the badge with other UI components. If you would like to see a working example of this, you can download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also shared a link to learn about obtaining a free license key to use our React suite if you are eligible for our community license. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel.